I would like to know if a half horse, half man wins the Kentucky Derby, did a man win or did a horse win? Hello and salutations from the island of misfit sports analysts. It is I, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst, and I am joined by two lovely-looking men. I can't say dashing. Lane did send us a couple videos, so he won't leave us. Lane is never gone. Chazzy figured this time he would steal his paddle boat, so he couldn't get here. But we have Chazzy, the CEO, who is very ready to be like, I'm here! I'm here!
We have you guys here. We're on the island, and we have the Preakness over our left, and I got Bobby from Vancouver Island in my ear here because we love watching these major horse races together. So
nice.
And of course, we have Dan Moore, not the CEO. Dan is not.
I'm glad to be the CEO, though.
Mr. Moore for his money.
Woo! I'm here all by myself, but I have here of me, myself, and I.
How are you here by yourself?
Because no one's in the room with me. Chazzy's got Bob and the TV and the horses. I got nobody.
Whiskey for my man. Beer for my
horses.
But boys, we got a big game tonight, eh? Big
Huge.
Game between the Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets. This is a do or die game for back-to-back nights in NHL playoffs, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
What are you guys the most excited about for this one?
Well, I think Winnipeg's going to play really, really hard because I said from day one the series is going to go 7, and here we go. We got to win this game, make it to 7. So we played so insane the last couple of days, and after the whole St. Louis thing, anything is possible. So let's see what drama happens tonight.
I also feel for a team like Winnipeg, they can't win a cup without winning a game on the road. So now they just got to do it.
Right.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. And remember when I talked about in the Leaf pregame, just win. I don't care how you win. Just win. I feel the exact same way about the Winnipeg Jets. I don't care if you need to put Mikko Rantanen in a timeout for the whole game. I don't care if you need a half horse, half man. I don't care if you need to touch their clogs. Whatever you got to do, just do it. Just do it.
That's right.
Plain and simple. But I will say, I think they're in for a very tough task.
Yeah.
As Dallas is a very, very, very good home team. And on the flip side, the Winnipeg Jets in the playoffs have been a pretty bad road team.
That's right.
So before we get into our thoughts, let's go to the first video from the Dashinator, Lane Dashing Dashco, as he talks about a big thing that he's expecting in tonight's game.
But coming into tonight, it is a big game. Unfortunately, the Dallas Stars are on the verge of eliminating the Winnipeg Jets at home at the American Airlines Arena up there in Dallas. They're up 3-2 tonight. And if you're the Dallas Stars, you got to kind of get a win tonight. You lost the last game up there in Winnipeg. I don't think you want to go back to that whiteout with that electric crowd. You got to take advantage at home. This is your chance. Mikko Rantanen's kind of been quiet the last few games. He's got to get back on the horse, get back in the points, kind of have another big game here tonight for the Dallas Stars to propel them. Also, Jake Ottinger, he might have to make some bigger saves, knowing there might be a hungry team on the other end of the ice, and we get into the Winnipeg, that's going to be a big game for them as well. They've really struggled on the road so far through the playoffs. They haven't really won very many games. I don't think they've won any so far. Tonight's the one they got to win. You always got to win one on the road, and unfortunately, at this point in the series, down 3-2, this is the one they have to win. So for Connor Hellebuyck, he has to make those big saves like he did in the previous game. They got to come out firing, maybe play a low-event game like Toronto did the night before, where you don't really do a lot. You keep it 1 or 2-0, try to win a 2-0 shutout, and bring it back to Winnipeg for your home barn in that whiteout. Should be a big game. Once again, I just want to say I hope Mark Scheifele's okay. We'll see if he ends up making the lineup. But 100%, if he has to sit out the game, I don't think there would be any hard feelings between the fans and the teams because, that's really hard to play through. But we'll see. Maybe the Winnipeg Jets will use this as some motivation to help one of their big-time, long-time players, and maybe that will propel them for a big victory tonight and give them that extra motivation to go get that win. So it'll be a big game tonight. Obviously, tonight, Game 6, Winnipeg and Dallas, and I actually do think that the Winnipeg Jets are going to use this as some motivation, use this as some inspiration to bring it home for Mark Scheifele, bring it home to the whiteout, bring it home to Winnipeg. I'm going to take the Winnipeg Jets tonight in Dallas. We'll see you on the post game later tonight. We'll see who wins. Catch you later.
Wow.
That is the first time Lane has picked Winnipeg in this series to win a game.
That's what I was thinking.
Just as a quick update, when Lane recorded that at the time, Mark Scheifele was a 50-50 chance. Mark Scheifele is, in fact, in the lineup tonight.
That's right.
Very tough loss for Mark Scheifele and his whole family of his father passing away suddenly. So, obviously, our thoughts and prayers and good vibes are sent to the Scheifele family and the whole Winnipeg Jets organization, because that's a very, very tough thing to deal with. But I do think what Lane said is true. They could use that as fuel to really try to win this one for Scheifele's dad, right?
100%.
So, and I see we have a Jets fan in the comments. Already getting some Go Jets go in here.
I think that's Granny 59 on the Streakers app.
Ah,
Nice.
59.
Oh.
Hey, this is gonna be a big game for Winnipeg, right? This is your do or die moment, and I want to ask Dan this one, Mr. Morford. So we all agreed before the Leafs went into Game 6, if they lost that game, it's an epic failure.
Yeah.
Chazzy already being sent hearts.
Aw.
But they said it would be an epic failure. Do you feel the same for Winnipeg? Like, do you think there's that same pressure on the Winnipeg Jets as what there was on the Toronto Maple Leafs?
I think it's the same pressure for Winnipeg, same pressure for Dallas, and the same pressure for Florida. All four of these teams had really good seasons, and all four teams made these really big trades at the deadline, especially Dallas. Winnipeg, a couple of little trades were still big trades, and won the President's Cup. And Florida finished a lot stronger than what they started. So any four of these teams is tough. If they don't win, they all fail, but someone's got to lose. So we'll see what happens.
But, I mean, Dallas has had more recent playoff success than Winnipeg. However, if Dallas blows a 3-1 series lead, there could be some major changes in their organization.
I wouldn't say Dallas just has success. Dallas has lost a lot. They made it to the third round quite a bit and don't really make it to the
I would
final.
call the third round a lot more success than what Winnipeg has had lately, which is first round exits every year and not winning games on the road. You have to win a game on the road if you're Winnipeg. If you guys remember, I said when they lost that game 1, this could really come back to bite them in the butt later in the series.
And here we are.
And here we are in a do or die Game 6 where you have to win if you're Winnipeg.
I'm curious if the fighting that we saw at the end between Jamie Benn and Mark Scheifele kind of starts off the game here.
I don't think we're going to be seeing that. Personally, I don't really. If you're in Winnipeg, you can't let emotions carry over from that game. You just got to play.
True.
You look at Toronto, right? They didn't care that Matthew Tkachuk's like, I'm going to elbow Nylander in the head. It's like, okay, have a nice life, bud. And I think that's the exact same thing Winnipeg's got to do, because Winnipeg is not the more physical team out of these two teams. It's just
surprisingly. Usually Winnipeg is the physical one.
And Dallas is just a big team. Like we even go into the last game where Winnipeg won 4-0. And I think more of the keys to success were more Winnipeg out shooting them 2 out of 3 periods. Third period, it was tied in shots. And Winnipeg did actually out-hit Dallas 52-33. So maybe you will see a physicality game, but I think Dallas is going to try to do more after the whistle, and I think Winnipeg is going to try to keep it more within the whistle.
Makes sense. Yeah, I can see that.
So, Chazzy, what are you looking for here? Like, are you expecting a quick start? Do you think this might be a slower game, like Lane said, between Toronto and Florida, where both teams are kind of afraid to make a mistake? What do you see this game being like with like the whole atmosphere?
Oh, I think we could see a wide open game, maybe hesitant at the beginning, but I think the Jets, I don't know, you got nothing to play. You got everything to play for tonight, so you might as well just leave it all out in the line. And
lay it on the line.
No, but they're like you said, they're more speed than physicality, and they can use their finesse and do what they did in Game 5. But again, like you said, you got to win on the road here. So Dallas is a tough place to play.
Yeah, Dallas is not an easy place to play a hockey game.
No,
in,
that
right?
crowd's
Like,
going to be rocking.
it's gonna, but I could see this being a much lower shot game for Winnipeg in this one. They don't have that home crowd to get them amped. And I think if you're Dallas, you gotta scale back on the penalties because you took 5 minor penalties. Winnipeg capitalized twice on it, and that was a big difference maker in game 5. So if you're Dallas, you got to clean that up. Winnipeg also took 4 penalties, but they killed them all off. If you can kill off your penalties, you can play a little more on that edge. Where Dallas, we saw them struggling a little bit to kill it off. So maybe they need to try to, let's scale it back a little bit. Bring it back. But I think we're going to see a great game either way. Like looking at that last one, realistically, Winnipeg dominated in every category. More
They
takeaways,
did.
less giveaways, more block shots, more hits, less penalties, better in the power play, better face-offs, more stuff on that, and the big one, more goals.
Yep, exactly.
And I don't know if you boys heard Jake Ottinger's quote, which I think might have fueled Connor Hellebuyck.
Yeah.
He said in an interview that, he just really wants to show that he should be the starting goalie for the Olympics.
No, he did not, did he?
He did.
Wow.
And talk about poking the bear.
Yeah.
I get Connor Hellebuyck has not had
Okay,
a
let's see it
phenomenal
tonight.
playoff
Let's see
run.
it. We got to see it tonight then.
That's right.
I mean, Connor Hellebuyck is more than likely will win the Vezina Trophy this year. Let's just keep it a buck. So why would you want to antagonize a Vezina caliber goaltender? He now has back-to-back shutouts at home.
Yeah.
I don't know if he needs a shutout tonight, but this might need to be his best game of the playoffs.
I think so. Yeah, I think it will be his best game.
And I think if Winnipeg, the key to their success has to be to just control the puck. Because I think it's going to be much harder to shut down Mikko Rantanen on the road because you can't line match him with Adam Lowry's line now. Because Adam Lowry has done a really good job at slowing down Mikko Rantanen.
And Dallas fans love Rantanen too, with Rick said so.
But I mean, you look in Colorado, they could not stop Mikko Rantanen at all. This series, Rantanen has had a couple big moments, but he hasn't taken over games to the same ability that he did against Colorado.
Right.
So this is a big game though, right? Like I really think we're going to see 2 very hungry teams. I think Dallas will come out more aggressive than they did last game.
Oh, they'll have to. Like, Dallas doesn't want this going in Game 7. You think, well, if Dallas, let's go to Game 7, when Dallas gave up all the momentum in Winnipeg, right? Especially going in whiteout there like that. I know Dallas won any whiteout, and that's amazing. No other team has done that, but it's like, you don't want to leave it all one game if you're Dallas.
Because I think, truthfully, if Winnipeg wins tonight, I feel they'll win the series. If you take this back to Winnipeg, I don't see Dallas winning it. You got Connor Hellebuyck, who has looked better his last couple starts. Even his last game on the road, I thought he looked better than other games on the road in the playoffs.
He did, yep.
And I think this is really going to come down to Winnipeg's depth. Like, yes, Mark Scheifele's in the lineup, but like Kyle Connor's leading the way with 16 points. You got Mason Appleton with 7 apples. Nikolai Ehlers with 5 goals and 2 assists in 7 games.
Yeah, I know.
6 points in 12 games. Niederreiter 6 points in 12 games. Perfetti 6 points. Lowry, who's a +2 and still managed to put up 4 goals in these playoffs. Like, I think Winnipeg's going to be more about the depth. Well, I think the Stars, their top players need to wake up besides of Rantanen and Hintz.
Right.
Like, if you look, Matt Duchene, he's a -9, no goals.
Wow.
Dandinoff, only 4 points. Tyler Seguin, 4 points in 12 games, a -2. Like, Dallas needs more than Rantanen and Hintz to do something.
Sure we do. I think you said Jamie Benn only has 1 assist or something like that.
Jamie Benn has 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points, -6, 24 penalties.
Big boy Ben.
That's a big problem, right? And I think this is where you're starting to see Winnipeg is being able to climb back in this series because Winnipeg's rolling 3-4 lines where Dallas is basically rolling 2.
And you know, as it past also a couple games, the Jets shut down Rantanen. So I know Godwin got the hat trick the one game, but besides of that, if you shut down Rantanen, you pretty well shut down the Stars, it looks like.
And the crazy thing to me is you went like Wyatt Johnson is a -13 these playoffs.
Wyatt Johnson?
Like, Dallas has a lot of minus players.
That's surprising.
And even look on the defense, like Thomas Harley, yeah, he's got your most points, 9 points in 12 games, but he's also a -6.
Ooh.
Like there's got to be a way to take advantage. I don't think you're going to get a lot of goals past Ottinger, but I think you just got to keep at it with shots of traffic and try to create power plays.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think, like I said, I think this is going to be a very close game. But do you guys? Officiating has been kind of a hot topic in these playoffs, right?
That's for sure.
The Leaf Panthers game, we saw a lot of minor penalties called. Are we expecting the same? Like, I think we're just seeing a new era of playoffs where, you know what, it's hooking in the regular season, it's hooking in the playoffs. So, are you expecting the same thing, Chazzy?
In tonight's game?
Yeah, in tonight's game.
Well, hopefully they just let him play.
That's what I'm hoping too.
And then, well, I just find if they called a lot of penalties in the last game, do you think, I don't know, maybe their coaches are a little bit warned to sort of watch it, or they're just going to let them play? But you never know what you're going to get, what officiating crew is going to let what go. So,
well, that's the thing too, right? It really just depends on the referees what happens.
Yeah,
because different referees are going to call different games. And Dan, I brought up a point that you brought up not that long ago about maybe you should just have the same referees officiate an entire series.
Yeah, well, you've heard my theory of having AI referees. If you don't like that idea, they have the same referees do the same series. It would cut down on traveling expenses too. And that way you would know right away in game one, what's a penalty? What isn't a penalty? What's a hook? What's a grab? You know, and that will, I think, will help the series flow better.
No, but if you get a referee that doesn't like you, you're pretty much euchred for the whole series.
Well, that's a chance you take. That's the flip side. Now, maybe teams can put in requests. Like I think that's who West McCauley is like Leafs are 0-9. West McCauley referees a game, so maybe it's something like you can put in a request. I don't know, but
no, I don't think there should be any requests for refs, anything along those lines. But I don't mind the idea of just having where you have the same officiating crew for a series, because in theory you would at least have consistency.
Well, I'd rotate them like the umpires then. I'd rotate them.
So maybe have like two teams of officiators per series that rotate game. One crew does the home games, one crew does the away games.
Or no, if you're gonna have four, you just switch a couple referees and then linesmen. Give someone sort of the controls, like the.
I'm not quite sure how to do your upside smile thing. I'm sorry.
Like in baseball, they all move bases depending on the game.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know
Game
that.
series, you're either umping, and then game two, you're third or first.
So that could be a way to do it up the same team, but maybe like one game you're the head ref, one game you're like secondary dude, and same with the linesman. They kind of switch which one's the head and which one's the secondary.
That might work.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see that.
Personally, though, I think if you're Winnipeg, you keep trying to get Dallas to take stupid penalties.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they are taking them.
Hopefully, they'll they're seasoned enough. I don't see them too many penalties tonight.
I could see Jamie Benn has more penalty minutes than average ice time per game.
Is that crazy?
But I think this game will really come down to Mark Scheifele.
Yeah.
Dan, apparently you need to wake up, by the way. It's because you didn't have a power nap like I did.
Just think about a power nap, so he's golden.
Well, he didn't sleep during the second period last night, don't forget.
Yeah, that's right.
But Lane sent us, Lane sent us another video about a player that he's watching very closely and is expecting to pop in a big goal.
What's going on, Streakers Island podcast? Just pulling into Georgetown, but I just seen on the score, looks like Mark Scheifele is going to play, which brings me to my custom prop of the night. Mark Scheifele for a goal tonight. And not only that, I think a game-winning goal. Put me down for that one. I think Mark Scheifele is going to have some inspiration to play tonight through the tragedy. You know, sometimes in tough times comes big performances, and I could see Mark Scheifele chipping in big time tonight with a game-winning goal against the Dallas Stars. We'll see you live for the post game.
Mark Scheifele game-winning goal. I do agree here. I think that the Jets
Yeah.
better win.
Yeah.
Do it.
This is
Just
a
to be
game-
honest, Wibson, we're all human. We're all human. You know, my allergies a little bothering me today with the spring weather, so I had to get a Kleenex for it, but now I feel pretty damn good.
I love how Dan put in the private chat that he needed his Kleenex. But then he's like, no, I'm just going to say it live now. Why did you put it in the private chat then?
Because why should I be ashamed of it, right? We all have humanoid body parts.
Oh, the Shades is with the
Shades
Jets
is saying
tonight.
Jets.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like
Like
it.
I said, this is a big game for the Jets. Now, the Jets, they don't have as many free agents coming up this year, but you do have a big name in Nikolai Ehlers. And if you don't get it done, there's a good chance you decide not to bring him back. I'm not saying he's the problem, but he is someone, you know, if they're trying to make change. And it looks like Granny thinks you're hilarious, Dan.
Well, thank you. Someone's got to be funny, right? I mean, we're all a funny group here.
Oh, Chazzy, where's Dan's muffin and coffee?
That's right.
Fun fact, I have never seen Dan eat a muffin, ever.
That's true.
He
Well, you
tried
know, I
to
like
eat
an
bagel
iced
for the
coffee
first time about a
and a
month ago.
sausage McMuffin and a hash brown. Chazzy knows that being on the road with me. Jacob knows that eating breakfast in the morning, picking up car parts.
But Chazzy, Dan has now tried cheese bagels, and he likes them
Oh, okay. Yeah. Little
With
butter.
cream
on-
cheese.
on the
Oh,
Tim's
cream
app
cheese.
for it.
Okay.
What is it? I see, because I'm using apps now, like the Streakers app, I got 20% off a Timmy's coupon with an ice cap and a cheese bagel with cream cheese. So I gotta toast it, I gotta cut it in half, and it was very good. Like
But
what
this is-
Jacob says, we're not sponsored by Tim Hortons, but hey, Mr. Tim Hortons, if you want to sponsor us, we're always open. I mean, your career was hockey. We talk about hockey. It's a good partnership, Will.
But back to actual hockey, I don't see the Jets don't have as many pending free agents as a team like Toronto does coming out of this season. Like, you have Ehlers on the last year of his deal, Tanev's on the last year of his deal, Velarde, but he's a restricted free agent. Appleton is an unrestricted free agent. And on defense, the only one who's going to be coming up on free agency is Hayden Fleury. So Winnipeg does not have as many. It's not like Toronto where, like, your big pieces are locked up in Scheifele and Hellebuyck because you lock them both up going into this season.
Wait.
So it'll be interesting to see for Winnipeg where they go from here if this doesn't get done. Just because you don't have as many options as Toronto did, for example.
Well, I think you have the Blake Tanev back. You know, he was a piece here earlier. He was a big piece. You missed him. You brought him back. And I would argue Ewers is a giant piece, too. I think Ewers in Winnipeg is kind of what Nylander is to Toronto. I get he's not quite as good as Nylander, but he's a special player, and he really evens out the lineup, right? So, yeah, I can see Ewers getting $7 million plus, but I think he's worth it.
But it's just when we go back to other players, like you look at Mark Scheifele, for example, he's got a full no movement clause. So you can't send him down to the minors. He can't be traded. You can't waive him.
Why would you send Scheifele to the minors?
Well, no, I'm just saying, look at what the Rangers did to get rid of Trouba. They just put him down in the AHL, and then he was willing to take the trade. Dan, you're on a mission, by the way. A mission for your muffin. A muffin.
Mission Impossible. Like jump out of an airplane, Blue.
I think it's easier to eat a muffin than jump off an airplane.
Yeah, a little
But
bit.
I'm just saying for Winnipeg, I don't know how the fan base is feeling tonight, knowing that if they don't get it done, there's not as much room for change. I mean, you do have a guy in Kyle Connor who's got a modified no trade clause with a
Ooh.
10-team no trade list. So he's a guy you could move if you don't get it done tonight. And I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy or a droopy Deborah or a disappointed Dan.
Just like Deborah and the Streakers app. Oh, Debbie.
We are sponsored by the Streakers app.
We are.
I just wanted to throw that in there. But yeah, it's going to be tougher if this doesn't work because basically for Winnipeg, you're more or less just swapping role players again. And that's the risk they took signing Scheifele and Hellebuyck before the year started. Hellebuyck at 8.5 and Scheifele at 8.5, right? These are two guys that you've locked in on contracts that you absolutely cannot move.
I mean, they're good deals for the type of players they're getting in today's market.
Because also Hellebuyck also has a no move clause at all. It doesn't change to a modified no move clause until 27-28.
Like,
so that's what I mean for Winnipeg here. I think there's a lot of pressure on the coach here if you don't get this done.
Yeah.
that was another thing too. Like Jacob and I were talking. Oh, maybe it was my mom actually talking off camera. It's like it was so weird. Like when Paul Maurice had such a good winning culture at Winnipeg, and he just walked away. So it's tough on this coach. It's a very tough predicament to recover from. Like, how often do you see a coach just walk away? I've never seen it in my lifetime.
It was a weird situation, but at the same time, he just felt he couldn't help the team come any further. And I mean, Winnipeg under new coaching, they are the best team in the NHL going into the playoffs. So you can't really criticize what he's done. But it's, it's just if they don't get it done in the playoffs here, you're going to look back at that one loss at home. And yes, you didn't have Mark Scheifele, and that's tough. Or you had Mark Scheifele, you didn't have Josh Morrissey that one game, which again, that's tough. But at the same time, you got to find a way to win a home game.
Yeah,
or at least win one road game. That's all they need is one road win.
Yeah.
So, Craig, I know you put in some phenomenal, I'm going to call it out, phenomenal props in the Streakers app.
Did you like those?
Lane's already called out one about Mark Scheifele, the Scheifenator. Well, let's go over, give Dan a prop. We'll play a game show. Give Dan a prop.
Yay!
All right.
We broke Jacob.
Well, I've been broken for years.
I just want to say Mad Mama has overtaken all of you on the Streakers Island podcast channel. Just
Whoa! Wow!
climbing the ranks, and I think
in EAHL.
And in the AHL. It's unbelievable.
Wow, that's right. You guys want to join and take down Mad Mama, download that Streakers app so you can join in on the conversation here.
Okay, here's one. Game more for the Dallas Stars will register at least 30 shots in the game.
I'm going to say no. If you look at Dallas in the past, who made it to the conference finals, they always had low shots on net, like 19 or so. And I guess we're going to have more now with guys like Rantanen and all of them and different things like that. And Hellebuyck seems to play better when he has a lower shot game. So I think Hellebuyck's going to have a big game. I think Winnipeg's defense is big and mighty now that Luke Sens back in the lineup, pretty hard to get shots through. So I'm going to say no, not 30.
All right. One for the analyst here. Will the Winnipeg
Initiating analyzation
score within the first 8 minutes of the second period?
Yes. Second period's been a really good period for the Winnipeg Jets. I think the first period, they're going to need to get the first goal. Second period, they're going to want to try to extend on that lead early. First 8 minutes, put one in the back of the net quickly.
Okay. More for one for you here. Will Adam Lowry win at least 50% of his faceoffs?
Yes, I really think he will. He's a veteran dude, great captain, great leader for the team, and he's fantastic at face-off dots. I'm going to say yes.
Okay, one more for the analyst, and then I got one for both of you.
Okay.
Will Connor Hellebuyck allow 3 goals or less in the game?
Yes. 100%. For Winnipeg to win, Connor Hellebuyck has to have a big game.
Okay.
Therefore, to have a big game, he cannot allow more than 4.
Granny 59 agrees.
What are you thinking more for? What do you think?
With what?
Do you agree with me?
Oh, 100% I do. Yeah. I was so busy reading comments there. You guys have a hard time multitasking, Yeah, I 100% agree. And don't forget, all you people listening, you want to join us on the custom apps, custom plops, maybe in your own custom plops. You can join Streakers for absolutely free. And you're not losing any money because you're not gambling money. You're just playing for points. It's free, play, and earn. Very unique sports app for this. So if we could do NHL, if you want to put in a grassroots team, maybe your sons or daughters hockey team, or maybe your grandfather's men's league, whatever you want to throw in, you can throw in a Streakers app. So
My
Secretly,
Aunt
let's go.
Susan's knitting speed derby.
That's right.
I bet there is
All
a
of
speed
it.
knitting somewhere.
Oh, probably. With
You can
speed
even make
dating,
it
it's got to be speed knitting.
All right, one last one for both of you here. Will we see an empty netter?
No.
I think I put yes to this one. I'm going to say yes.
I'm smarter than you, so everyone who's playing on the Streakers app, go with me and not with Dan.
So
Well, at least I'm
answer is
smarter
thinking-
than a fifth grader.
Now you
No, I'm
thinking
not. That was a tough game.
OT
No, it's going to end in regulation.
and then regular. Okay,
Winnipeg's going to win in regulation.
but no empty netter.
No, 3-1.
With no empty netter.
Wow, interesting prediction. That's pretty bold.
You know what it is? It's because Dallas is going to touch their clogs and they're just going to get rattled.
Oh, yeah.
So, to
why
play
don't we go
along
around
with
the
us,
room a little bit here?
Yeah.
And so now you already know my prediction for this game. Mr. Chazzy, the Chaznator 2.0, the quick changing magician. Do you think Winnipeg's going to have enough magic to win another game and push this to 7?
we can only hope so. Like, yeah, I'm hoping that they do, and I'm gonna go with the Jets. It is an uphill climb, but I don't know. I think there's raw emotion in that locker room tonight. A lot of heavy hearts. That locker room plays for each other. We've seen it all year how they can play together, and they're a tight knit group. So I think they can climb this mountain. We can see another game 7.
I would love to see another game 7. Game 7 would be on Monday.
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 What a great way to spend Labor Day.
So, Dan, who are you taking here? Do you think Dallas is just going to finally put this one to bed? And I do say finally because I feel the way they let Winnipeg win at Game 5 is giving Winnipeg a lot of momentum when there wasn't a lot of belief in that fan base. I've seen Winnipeg fans starting to believe. What do you think?
I said from day one the series is going to go 7. Dallas is a very good team. This was the most I would say be even bit more competitive than Atlantic. The most competitive conference in the playoffs because of all the trades on trade deadline. And Winnipeg did the opposite of Dallas and Colorado. Didn't make a huge splash on trade deadlines. They got little splashes and kept the good team together. But yeah, I said from day one's going to go game 7, and I'm still sticking to that. So I think Winnipeg's taking this one.
So we all think Winnipeg's going to take this one, including Lane, which it was the first time Lane has picked Winnipeg.
Yeah,
And
because he
this
was
is
heavy
late.
on Dallas.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I was
Holy
very
cow.
surprised.
I think the early prediction was Dallas in 5.
It was.
Yeah, that's right.
So what do you guys think Winnipeg needs to do, though, to win this game? Like, what's
He's
the biggest key
probably
for
more than
Winnipeg?
I did.
I think the biggest key for Winnipeg is a balanced lineup. It's like a healthy diet. The balanced lineup is the key to success for Winnipeg.
So the Stars are 4-0 following a loss this year.
Wow.
Or no, sorry, in the postseason. 19 goals, 4-9 against.
Wow.
Just a side note, they're showing it on the pregame here.
But that's why I feel for Winnipeg is going to have to be a balanced lineup effort. And you look at this lineup, right? They have guys that could score on every line. And that's a big difference to them versus Dallas. I mean, Dallas, in theory, have guys that can score on every line, but they haven't been doing it, right? Where I feel Winnipeg has been getting offense from all 4 lines a lot more. But even the 4th line hasn't produced a lot of offense, but it's at least had good zone time. So
I'm
watch
just
for this
7
line here, this 3rd line, Nino Ryder, Lowry, and Appleton. This is the line Winnipeg's going to try to get against the Rantanen line as much as physically possible.
Right.
I think they're just going to have to continuously shoot it. Just as the Ottingers 17-6 in games following the loss in the playoffs with a 203 goals against. I think Winnipeg had over 30 shots in game 5. I think they're going to have to do that
Yeah.
again to win.
But I don't know if Dallas is going to let them as much. I think Winnipeg, too, though, I think the big part of their defensive core, I felt Game 5, their defense played a lot more physical. Bringing Luke Shen back into the lineup added some physicality. And I think Winnipeg is going to make it very hard for the Dallas Stars to play in the trenches, right? In the corners, winning puck battles. That's where Winnipeg really excelled in the last matchup. And I think you're going to see a lot from all three defensive pairings, because all three defensive pairings have a guy that can move the puck and a guy that can hit. So it's a very balanced defense in Winnipeg. Like, they might not have the star power of some of these other teams, including the Dallas Stars, but they have a very deep lineup.
Yeah. Like what the prop said about Adam Lowry there, I think one of the big keys to Winnipeg winning is a face-off circle. Dallas is very deep in center, and Winnipeg, I think, is missing a little bit of a gap there on the second line, but he's been playing pretty well. And your heart goes out for Mark Scheifele, right? Horrible situation with his dad passing away. I give Scheifele a lot of credit for playing in tonight's game, and we know he's a man of faith and a man of religion, and that's hard to do in the world of hockey and different things like that. So good on him for sticking to his beliefs and sticking with his guns. And I've heard that Adam Lowry's a really good team player and really good spiritual leader for the team as well. So hopefully he can help out Mark Scheifele and everyone can help him out during this difficult time.
100%. I've heard nothing but good things with Mark Scheifele as a person. I know him on a personal level as well, back when he was in Barrie.
Yeah.
And he was a great guy back then, and I'm sure he's just gotten older and obviously he's older, but he's gotten wiser and he, so huge loss for him. But I do think Winnipeg is going to rally around that. For Dallas to win this one, Dan, you mentioned the depth at center, and they certainly have the depth of Hintz, Duchesne, Johnston, and Steele. However, but it looks phenomenal. But then we look at the statistics, and a lot of these guys have not had a great playoff. So it's really been
that is surprising.
It's really been the top line that's been driving this team of Granlund, Hintz, and Rantanen. I really feel for Winnipeg, if you shut down that top line, which I'm not saying is easy to do, but if you do that, you win this game.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the other lines have not shown up. Like Matt Duchene's contract value and same with Jamie Benz are going down.
Yeah.
Every playoff game. And mind you, Dallas actually has the ability to make some changes if it doesn't work this year. Because I think for Dallas, you beat Colorado, they felt, okay, we beat the Avs. We should go to the conference finals now. No disrespect to Winnipeg, but I felt Dallas, and the majority of people felt that Dallas was the better team.
Including Dasko.
Including Dashing Lane Dashko. But I think for Dallas, this is a huge game because they do not want this going to 7. And it's really going to rely on either this top line has to take over again, or one of these three in the bottom 9 has to find another gear. Because the bottom 9 for Dallas has struggled.
Which is surprising. It's looking on paper, looking a powerhouse.
They do. And I mean, you look at this defense in Dallas, it's also a very deep defense, right? So I think Dallas's defense is going to have to play better because they did not have a good game 5 at all.
No.
They really let Winnipeg just set the tone and do whatever the heck they wanted to do. So I think Dallas's defense needs to look in the mirror and play better.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think this is a big game for both. It's just, would you guys argue, though, we talk about if Winnipeg gets eliminated in this round, it's a failure. Is it also a failure for Dallas?
Yes.
Yes. What do you think, Chassis?
Oh, yeah, if you give up a 3-1 lead with the team you had and you just took out the Avs, absolutely. Mind you, well, yeah, just like Warforce said, they haven't went that far either with the great squads they've had in the last 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm,
so do you see Dallas making some big changes if they lose this series?
100%. I mean, you're kind of stuck with Rantanen after giving him $96 million.
Yeah, but you can build around that.
Right? But exactly, you can build a great team around him. And yeah, you have a great team around him now, but maybe you get rid of players, not different players with him, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
But just to kind of look here for the Dallas Stars, I mean, you got Jamie Benn, who's going to be an unrestricted free agent, and mind you, too, I would project his cap hit is going to really come down because
what is it now?
9.5.
Oh, yeah, it's going to go way down.
So you have him coming up, Granlund's coming up, Duchesne, Dandanoff.
Granlund's going to look for a raise, no?
I think so.
I think so.
Blackwell will be looking for a raise as well.
He was in Minnesota last year, was he not?
Cody Cece's coming up as well. Like, there's just, you know what, you're looking at some guys. The goaltending will stay where it is with Ottinger. Wow, Ottinger's contract this year. Next year, it's a big jump up, though, on a cap hit, going from $4 million to 8.25. So Dallas may have to let go one of those forwards to keep their stud goalie.
I think unfortunately Jamie Benn's the one to go.
He's your captain, though. So are you saying
that's the tough part, right?
There's going to be a new sheriff in town?
Yeah, I would keep Jamie Benn if it was to me, but $9.5 million. I mean,
yeah, okay,
I'm
Jamie Benn's
actually
not getting $9.5 million.
I'm actually surprised. I was going to say this earlier, but since you brought it up now, why not? I was surprised that Colin Blackwell was not in the lineup. I know Dallas has a good lineup, but Colin Blackwell was a good player. We had him in Toronto for a little bit. That's a good, decent fourth liner. And in that first round of the playoffs against Colorado, he got an overtime game-winning goal, which I know the overtime goal is game-winning, but, rolls off the top nicely,
That's
so I don't know
point,
who he would take off, but
I didn't notice Colin Blackwell was off, but it is strange. You would think in a game like this, you might want more of a veteran presence in there, a guy that's already got you a big game winner. He's really good on the penalty kill. Your penalty kill was bad last game. Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised he's not in the lineup.
Because on the fourth line, you got Dantonov at right wing and Steele at center. Who's your left winger on fourth line?
Marchment.
Marchment, really?
See, I'd be taking off Alex Petrovic and bringing on Colin Blackwell.
Yeah, Petrovic's a good player too, but if I'm not mistaken, he's kind of in weak playoffs.
He's a decent player by by all means. But he's only got 2 points in 12 games at a +1, right? And he only has 1 point this whole series.
What did Blackwell have?
I don't know if Blackwell hasn't been playing as much in this series.
No, I know. What's his stats for?
I can pull them up. You just got to give me a uno momento, por favor. This is the issue of live TV, ladies and gentlemen. We're not live TV. Live screencast, podcast, broadcast.
We'll see if that physicality of Game 5 has sort of affected Dallas or not.
I think it might. I think Dallas could do the same thing as we predicted Florida was going to do. Take some really stupid penalties. I think that's what Dallas is going to try and do. I think we're going to try to get underneath Winnipeg's skin. And the key for them to win is not to take stupid penalties.
So Colin Blackwell doesn't have a point in this series. He only has 1 goal in 7 games, but the 1 goal he has is an overtimer.
Right, yeah.
So, and he's a penalty killer. So
that obviously doesn't matter because you guys had Nick Robertson in a lineup the other night. He was the only one to score, and he took.
I didn't have him in there.
Well, like I said the other night for the Leafs, I think they just went back to more of the lineup that got them where they were at in the regular season. Like with Berube not splitting up Matthews and Marner, and I don't think you're going to see Dallas splitting up that top line, even if they lose this game and if they go into a Game 7. No. I think at this point, everyone that makes it to the second round of the playoffs, they're a good team.
Oh, for sure.
There's no bad teams. Actually, you know what? I'm even gonna edit that quote. I don't think in the NHL, I don't think there's a bad team that makes the playoffs this year.
Maybe New Jersey.
Compare New Jersey to some of the NBA teams that made the first round.
They just got hurt.
Well, yeah, true. Yeah, true.
Yeah, if they could have stayed healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Jacob Markstrom doesn't slash his own player in the nuts. He must have touched his clogs. But if he was able to do that and that team stayed healthy, you gotta remember, Carolina won it in 5. 2 of those games went in overtime. It's not like it was an easy run for Carolina. Same with Montreal. Yeah, they lost in 5. Can't say that was a bad series. Same with Ottawa. St. Louis took the Jets to 7. Minnesota took the Knights to 6. Right? So, that's one thing I love about the NHL playoffs. You don't see, and let's be honest, in the NBA, especially in the East, some of the teams that make the playoffs, they don't even have a 500 record.
Why is that?
Like, they should not be in the playoffs. People talk about more teams in the playoffs in the NBA. I'm like, no. If anything, I'd almost rather see less.
I like to see more
Because half
teams
the
in the
series in the
NHL.
first round in the NBA are absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the wild card in the NFL, right? The wild card matchups are usually blowouts. Like the first week in NFL playoffs are usually boring. But the first round in the NHL is not boring.
No,
We're
not
getting
at all.
blowouts in the second round of the NBA by like 30, 40 points.
I think it's because in the NBA there's a huge gap between the top teams and the okay teams and the bad teams. Like, I don't
Usually
think
not
the
in the
gap.
second round.
I don't think the gap's as big in the NHL, though. The NHL, you will see a team like San Jose randomly take down a team like Winnipeg once in a blue moon.
Well,
Where
look
in
at
the NBA,
St.
you never
Louis
see.
almost took down Winnipeg.
Pardon?
Look at St. Louis. Louis almost took down Winnipeg. St. Louis was a wild card team, and they got Winnipeg in Game 7 in double overtime.
1.6 seconds to go.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about it. It's like, oh my goodness.
But no, I think tonight, though, we're in for a really, really good game. In my opinion, the NHL playoffs have not disappointed.
No.
And I don't know if you guys heard in the Winnipeg game, last game, when Scheifele scored off his hand and the crowd started yelling, should have kicked it.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
That was hysterical. So, I mean, if this game, I've said it once, I'll say it again. If Winnipeg gets it back to Winnipeg, they will win the series. And I think Dallas might blow up.
Wow.
Well, you think about the Dallas Stars blow a 3-1 series lead when you had complete control.
Yep.
And I get Winnipeg was the President's Trophy team. But at the same time, I think you expected Dallas to – I believe Dallas was the favorite going into this series.
Yes.
So let me ask you, gentlemen.
Slight favorite, I think.
Let me ask you, gentlemen, a question then.
No,
We're
yeah.
saying if Dallas lose, they're going to blow up. You look at the Rantanen trade, they gave up Stakehoven, which is came out to be a very good player in Carolina, and 2 first-round picks. And they signed him with $96 million, 12 years. If they lose, does that trade a fail?
No.
No, that's more of you're addressing today, and you're addressing you can build around that. You have some
True,
veterans that have been there, as we saw on big contracts that we know are going to come down. Ottinger seems to be getting a pay raise of $4 or $5 million. The cap's going up $4 or $5 million, so that's a wash. So
Right.
I think they got some room, and we said it earlier about the Leafs and what they could do. There's some free agents out there with some championship pedigree in them that could add to this Dallas Stars lineup, because now if they do lose, they're facing the same question of like, why can we not get past? Why can we not win? Why can we not just like put this series away when we were up 3-1?
No,
Well, I think we need Brett Hall.
I think what Dallas will do, they're going to look at some of their aging core, and I think that's why you brought in Rantanen. Like, Jamie Benn is not what he used to be anymore.
No.
Matt Duchene is inconsistent. I mean, he's still a good player, but his contract's coming up. And you bring in a guy like Rantanen to kind of replace the age. Like, let's be honest, you don't know how many more great years you're getting out of Tyler Seguin. I mean,
I was just
Tyler
gonna say
Seguin
that,
actually
yeah.
might be a guy you may try to convince to waive. He's got a no-move clause, which is tough.
What's he
But
on
you
contract?
can actually buy him out as of next year. There is a buyout option for him. And the
What's
reason
he
why I
getting?
say about buying out Tyler Seguin, you're paying him $9.5 million,
Wow, it's a lot.
right? You buy him out, it's only going to cost you buyout cost for a year is 1.4. That clears up a lot of cap space.
Well, with Ben, he's coming off, no?
But yeah, he is coming off, and he
Yeah.
has a big contract of 9.5. But I'm saying, I think if Winnipeg if Dallas loses, more changes will have to come than Jamie Benn, because Jamie Benn, he's just old, right? Like, he's not the same player. And I think Dallas fans may look the same way Leaf fans do. Enough of shuffling the deck in the bottom 6. Now,
Yeah.
they brought in Mikko Rantanen, which is a lot more than just shuffling the deck, right? That is a humongous player. The best player available, you went out and got him. And if you still can't get it done, then that tells me more needs to happen in Dallas. And I get Winnipeg is an excellent team. And truthfully, I still really feel if the Dallas Stars can win this game, they're fine, obviously. But if Winnipeg wins this game, Winnipeg will win Game 7. If they do, then you're gonna have a question to look at, and it's tough with Dallas because you've been in the. If you make it this year, it'll be 3 straight years to the conference finals if you get there this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do, right? Do you make major changes because you feel like, look, we're right there? And I mean, when they lost to Edmonton in 6 last year, which I mean, Edmonton, that team was on a mission last year. I think they're on a mission again this year.
Oh, they're more on a mission.
Yeah.
I really think Edmonton's going all the way this year. And
Yeah.
the last year they lost to Vegas in 6. However, their last game of the series, they lost 6-0 and got the doors blown off them.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
So, and it was a close game, at least in the final game against Edmonton. They lost 2-1, but it was the same thing. They had a 2-1 series lead, and then they lost 3 straight. Right? So, I don't know. If you don't get to the conference finals this year with adding Mikko Rantanen, and as Dan said, you traded Logan Stankoven. You traded 2 first overall draft picks.
No, that's a lot.
This is a tough one. And I get people will say, well, Dallas first overall draft picks aren't worth as much. But how many times do we see a guy go midway in the first round and then they end up being better than the guy that was picked in the top 5?
Oh, 100%.
Any player in the first round, you're getting a very good prospect. Look at Matthew Nyes. I think he was drafted, I think, late in the first, if not the second.
I don't think they drafted him. I think we signed him if we.
No, they did draft him because Brian Burke said he desperately wanted to pick him in Pittsburgh, but Toronto got him by 1 pick.
Oh, right. Okay.
So all I mean is for Dallas. Funny enough, a lot of these teams in the playoffs now are kind of like, I think Carolina, no matter what happens to them next round, I think the fan base and the team will be happy with what they did. Right? They made a big splash to get Rantanen. It blew up in their face. They flipped it to get Taylor Hall and Logan Stankoven and made it to the conference finals for the second time in 3 years.
And they got a bunch of first-round picks.
And they got a couple first-round picks. I think Carolina, you're fine if you're Carolina, even if you get swept in the finals, which I'm not saying they will.
Yeah.
I think you'll be fine.
Good point.
I think for both Dallas and Winnipeg, if they don't get to the conference finals, they'll be disappointed. Winnipeg will be disappointed that they didn't win a single road game. Dallas will be disappointed they had 3 chances to close it out and couldn't do it.
So then, let's say this vice versa then. If Winnipeg loses tonight, which let's hope it doesn't happen, you can't say it's a fail, but was it a fail because the trade deadline, they didn't go to get a big piece. They got the small pieces instead. Like, so they got someone like Brock Nelson as the second-line center.
Well, and the problem is, too, they went out and got a guy like Luke Schenn and then benched him for a couple games, and you lost both of them.
Yeah, I mean, no sense.
Right? So I really think Winnipeg, and his name is escaping me, but their head coach is on the hot seat.
Yeah, I can't think
I
of his
really
name.
feel if he doesn't get them to the minimum conference finals, he's gone. I don't know who you bring in. As I said, you guys freaked out. Maybe the Leafs fire Craig Berube. Who knows?
What with John Tortorella in Winnipeg?
Pardon?
I see John Tortorella in Winnipeg.
Scott Arnold. That's the coach in Winnipeg. And I don't know. I could see. What do you think, Chazzy? If Winnipeg doesn't get it done this series, whether you push it to 7 or lose tonight, do you think there's a good chance the coach is fired?
Oh, possibly.
Because you look at the roster, and I think this is a good enough team to make it all the way. I think it's a good enough team to win the cup. I really do.
Yeah, yeah.
I think this is a team that could beat Edmonton. I'm just calling it out.
Oh,
I think they could. I mean, if Hellebuyck plays, if Hellebuyck can play the way he's playing at home, and as long as they don't lose any home games, they have home ice all the way through. And that whiteout, I mean, mind you, these are Edmonton, Winnipeg. That'd be a hell of a conference final.
Oh yeah, that would
2
be
of the
a
loudest
wow.
barns in the NHL, right? 2 of the craziest fan bases. And then it really would take a test here. What wins, depth or star power?
I don't think the league would like that, though. Let's be honest. They want the TV
I disagree
viewership.
with you 100%. I don't think the league would be too upset. Number one, too, they're trying to boost the profile in Winnipeg because they don't want to have to take the team out of Winnipeg, which I'm not saying they're going to. But you don't want to have to take a team out. You don't want to put a team in a city twice and take it away twice.
Yeah.
Right? So they want to make this work. they want Connor McDavid going all the way in theory because people will watch a game just to watch playoff Connor McDavid. Because as much as he hasn't done it as much in this playoff Connor McDavid is just a completely different animal than regular season Connor McDavid.
Oh, yeah. I think McDavid and Draisaitl still got a couple hat tricks in them this playoff. I really do.
And I think, like I said again, I think Mark Scheifele's going to have a huge game. So before we go, because puck drops in only a couple minutes here.
Oh, just a side comment here. I think in an hour and a half, part of the Centennial Cup, we have the Trenton Golden Hawks in the semifinals going against Melfort tonight. The Melfort Mustangs.
That's right.
Looks like the Rockford Nationals are taking on Calgary Canucks right now, 2-0 in the other semifinals. So that final is slated for tomorrow night, 5:00.
Wow.
Which I believe that final's on TSN. Don't quote me on that, but TSN usually broadcasts the final of the Centennial.
It is on the Streakers app because I did challenge Chazzy this morning. I think Trenton's going to take that game.
Yeah, Trenton's a really deep team. We saw them a lot here locally and the OJHL Buckland Cup final where they took down the Mountain Menace in 6 because the Menace were a deep team too, right? And that Trenton team's very good.
Oh, yeah.
3-0-1 overtime loss, but and they're going against Melfort, which is 4-1 there. So should be
very. Well, I mean, any team that makes the Centennial Cup is a very good team.
Yeah.
They're the best of the best in junior A hockey in Canada.
Yeah.
And I know I don't know if we were on air, but congrats to the London Knights, Morphors OHL champions.
I was going to say, Jacob, we'll have a talk about that in the in our pre-recorded podcast episodes that you can get on Spotify and iHeartRadio. Might have to get Blythe up and get his opinion on London Knights taking the OHL. But yeah, I'm happy I won. I called it from day one. And
it looked like Oshawa had a lot of shots in that last game. They just couldn't beat them. So
they played hard. It wasn't their fault, right? They, as I say, put everything on the line. And I think it's really proves that Easton Cowan wants to be a Maple Leaf because he failed miserably at the World Juniors, and he really has stepped it up here to prove he wants to be a Maple Leaf and not trade him like we did with Fraser Mitten. And he set a bunch of OHL records. So good on him, and hopefully, since with the salary increases, it's like Matthew Knies, it might lose a big player. So
we're not losing.
Hopefully we see Easton Cowan in the lineup next year.
If Brad Treliving lets Matthew Knies walk, I don't know if I'll even watch the Leafs next year.
No, that's not what I'm saying. We're going to lock up Matthew Knies. But because he's getting a giant pay raise, we're going to lose someone else. Let's just be honest, right? So Easton Cowan is going to replace someone. Whether it's Domi, which I don't think he'll lose either, but Pacioretty, McMahon,
Marner,
whoever it is, right? That's
JT.
This will be another topic for another show, but I want you guys to think about this and stew in it like a porridge that you got from the Berenstein Bears. Even if the Leafs go to the third round, you still could see Tavares or Marner walks. I want your thoughts on that later.
But 100%.
Quickly here, we talk about Oshawa Chazzy. In the third period, they outshot London 18-7.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah.
But London still managed to score 2 goals. The London netminder is a very, very good goaltender.
Who has his rights?
Who has his rights? I'm not sure who has his rights.
Okay, yeah, no, he played on his head.
But you got to give
Chazzy his stats, and just quickly here, he had a 2.46 goals against average, a 906 save percentage, and a shutout throughout the playoffs. Regular season, he went 32-1.
Holy cow!
His one loss to the regular season, I believe, was against the Windsor Spitfires, which was on Hockey Day in the OHL. And
well, he only had one loss in the playoffs against the Jets.
It is really sad to see Barry drafted him and we got rid of him.
Yeah.
What?
The Barry Colts drafted him.
Wow.
That is kind of depressing.
Yeah.
But quickly before we go, and I get more depressed while thinking about my Barry Colts losing in the conference finals again. Who's
Did
one
we say?
player?
Sorry, did we hear Lane's coming in for the post game?
Lane will be in
He
for the
is.
post game. Lane is doing some junior B lacrosse out in
Yes.
Halton Hills. So shout out there to the Halton Hills Bulldogs, junior B. Again, lacrosse is a great sport. Get out and watch it. But looking at this game tonight, I'm going to say the one player that I think is going to have a big game is Kyle Connor. Kyle Connor is the playmaker on that top line. He leads the team in points in the playoffs. He is going to be the facilitator for a guy like Mark Scheifele. Winnipeg's top line is going to have to try to outperform Dallas's top line. Chazzy, who's one guy that you're watching out for tonight?
Scheifele.
Yeah, I think Mark, you know what? That's a good pick. If Kyle Connor's going to get a lot of, he's going to be the setup man. They got to be the trigger man. Mark Scheifele's a trigger man. Trigger man, over to Dan. Who's going to be the big standout player tonight?
I'm going with my captain, Adam Lowry. You know, when you're in a dying situation like this and you have an emotional overdrive with Mark Scheifele and everything, gotta look at your captains and your leadership to step it up. And one side note I just want to say, watch us on the Streakers Island podcast, because at the beginning, even before the OHL playoffs started, I picked London in the finals, and Chazzy picked Ottawa. And look what happened. So listen to us, everyone. We know what we're talking about.
One other quick player I'm going to mention is also Connor Hellebuyck. Connor Hellebuyck is going to watch both goalies very closely in this one. Both of these guys are going to have to play a really, really good game. But I think there's more pressure on Connor Hellebuyck to not become Connor Hellefraud in the playoffs. Because we know the stats on the road have been terrible. He's been really good at home, but he's really struggled on the road. This is his biggest test to prove paying him $8.5 million, making him the 5th highest paid goalie in the NHL was the right call. Look at Boston with Jeremy Swayman. They're already looking to shop him. We're going to talk about that in another episode.
Wow.
Chazzy's like, what?
I just watched him for the U.S. For that tournament that they're in.
Exactly. This game's going to prove who's going to get the starting netminder in the U.S. Olympic team.
No, but the tournament that's going on right now. So
yeah, but
Ravens the U.S. starting goalie, or he's starting.
Did you guys see Marc-Andre Fleury's agent kind of tweeting out saying that maybe Fleury's not retiring?
I called it.
Yeah.
I honestly think he's just pulling everyone's leg.
No, I think
Marc-Andre Fleury in this tournament he's got a 935 save percentage and a 1 goals against average. He's been a stud. So, man, it's crazy watching. I still say it. If he comes back, bring him back to Pittsburgh. Give Pittsburgh a true starting goalie. Come on, Dubas. Don't be a doofus. I know he's not from Sault Ste. Marie, but that's okay. But
what
anyways,
about Colorado, maybe?
Oh.
I don't see Colorado because I thought Mackenzie Blackwood had an excellent playoffs. He was not the reason. Biggest mistake in Colorado. Well, 2 big mistakes. You let Nazem Kadri walk, and then you traded Mikko Rantanen. They've never been the same since Kadri left that team.
Joe Sakic might be getting fired.
Honestly, I've wondered that, but I think that's for another episode. Maybe we should do a live episode, maybe before the 2nd or 3rd round starts, going over all the teams that didn't make the playoffs or got eliminated early and kind of being like, what's the next steps for them? There's a show idea. But anyways, thank you very much for watching the Streakers Island podcast.
Enjoy the game.
It is I, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst, the most chill guy in the room, Dan Moore, more for your money.
Woo!
And the Chazinator 3.0. He just got an upgrade, the CEO. We'll see you guys after for a post-game show.
Enjoy.
Bye.